Hello and welcome to Asianet News Dialogues. Today we have with us Mr. Anil K. Antony, a talented youngster and a former social media convener of the Congress Party. He has already got recognition at the international stage. Mr. Anil K. Antony, welcome to this show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me in this show. It's a great pleasure.
Anil, you were in the news last week because of your tweet. So let us begin this interview with your tweet. I will read it. Despite large differences with BJP, I think those in placing views of BBC, a state-sponsored channel with a long history of prejudices, and of Jack Straw, the brain behind the Iraq war, over institutions, is setting a dangerous precedent, will undermine our sovereignty. Can you explain how a documentary in a channel can affect our sovereignty?
So when I made a tweet, when I made that tweet, I did believe that it was very innocuous. At the same time, it was very self-explanatory. In that tweet itself, I had made it very clear that I, as a person, I have a lot of political differences with the BJP. I had made it very clear. But in the past few days, I saw certain narrations that is being played in this country. And at that point of time, I did think that everything is not right. And that is why I pointed certain things out, which I believe should be the concerns of any Indian citizen who is concerned about the well-being of the country. This documentary came a few days back, I think over a week back, and I did notice that one of the main voices of this documentary is Mr. Jack Straw. And this Jack Straw is a person with a very dubious background. He was the foreign secretary when Mr. Tony Blair was a prime minister. And he was one of the main proponents of this weapons of mass destruction theory. And he was pushing for this Iraq war. Finally, he is one of the brains behind the Iraq war. And when somebody like that brings a project into India, I did think that Indian citizens should be concerned. And second, I mentioned about the BBC. I did say that it's a channel with a lot of past prejudices against India. So that also I'm just explaining it, but I just said it in 3-4 words. So if you look at BBC's history, I am somebody who is a Democrat and a liberal. I do believe in the sanctity of free speech. I do believe in the sanctity of free expression. And I'm very, very absolutely positively sure that without the freedom of speech and freedom of expression, a democracy cannot move forward. But this is not a regular scenario, and this is not a normal, regular media outlet. This outlet, when you look at the last 75 years, this is an outlet that is a repeat offender in spreading certain anti-India views. So I again had another tweet regarding that, where many instances, not one, many instances.
A map of BBC.
Yes. So many instances, this is an outlet which shows India without Kashmir in it. So this is and even 2 days back, while they were discussing on Brexit, they did the same thing again. So this is an outlet which doesn't even respect India's territorial integrity. This is an outlet that never has respected India's sovereignty over one of our most integral parts. And when somebody like that, with somebody like Jack Straw involved, come with a project, obviously I had some concerns and I did raise it. And for similar scenarios in 1968 and 75, our Prime Minister Indira Gandhi did ban this channel. It was not just in the emergency. When in 68, she banned this channel for spreading anti-India views. So this is something which has been happening forever, again and again, and these were my concerns. So then a lot of people just took that sovereignty aspect. They are like, how will a documentary affect our sovereignty?
That's the question. Yeah.
So here, I'm not saying one documentary will, but if you create certain precedences in this country, in the long run, it is dangerous. That is what I said, because we have our institutions. India is a very robust, resilient, dynamic democracy. And in this democracy, we have institutions, they have their sanctity. And when some people in this country actually put the words of a foreign entity, a foreign institutions, over any of our institutions, and then you take that narration forward, with time that is diluting the sanctity of our institutions, and you are giving foreign entities a chance to meddle in this country, which is definitely undermining our sovereignty. This is what I mentioned.
But BBC is a channel which is already present in India and they are allowed to function in India. So why can't you see their attempt as their freedom of expression?
See, everybody, that is what I clearly mentioned. I'm not somebody who is for the banning or blocking of any artistic expression or any freedom of speech or expression. I do believe that in a democracy that is absolutely essential. I'm also somebody who stands for media freedom. I stand for media outlet or a journalist to express their unbiased political views. All this is something which I also, as a Democrat, a liberal Democrat, surely believes in. But like I said, this is not a normal scenario. This is a outlet with certain prejudices, which has been against this country, which has been evident over the years. This is not the issue. It is something which has happened over 75 years. So already a past history is there. And when they come with something like, I thought that this is trying to open up certain old wounds, which the British had been doing in this country for 300 years, and now I felt that once again they are trying to open up certain wounds in this country, and then once again divide the country based on certain communal lines, which already they had done before. And I thought this is another attempt they are making at this moment, which is why I
But
raised
don't you
certain
think
concern.
it became a major discussion because of government's moves also? They tried to censor it.
See, that is also not something which, like, I personally thought that if this was just ignored, things would have been much better. Like, end of the day, they should have been allowed to, like, there is nothing wrong in that. But at the same time, at this moment, when you are looking at the scenario, there is so much internal chaos, there is so much internal disturbances that is happening because of this. And then a concerned citizen should be worried why this is happening. Of course, everybody can project what they want. Anybody should screen what they want as long as it is not affecting any of our, as long as it is not a threat to any of our constitutional values or our criminal penal values. And I don't think, I don't know, I don't think that this meets that criterion. But now when you look at all the internal chaos and internal disturbances that this is creating, then I think any concerned citizen should be worried about why this is happening.
Yeah, already it is in the Supreme Court. The case is in the Supreme Court. Your tweet became a national news in two contexts. One, you were a functionary of the Congress party, both at the Kerala state and also at the central level. Secondly, you are the son of the topmost Congress leader in this country, Mr. A.K. Antony. You could have discussed this inside the party.
See, finally, Twitter is just a social media tool. When I post different things related to many things in Twitter, from technologies to sports to arts to life around, and I'm not going to, it doesn't make any sense for me to check everything with the Congress party before I tweet. And this, I don't think I have, and I'm very sure, it is not even I don't think, I am very sure that I haven't said anything against Congress's core values or beliefs or anything. I am actually talking about BBC, I'm talking about their certain prejudices in the past, which even Prime Minister Indira Gandhi once banned this documentary in 1968 because of certain reasons. This is a outlet with certain past history which is not very pro-India. And I just raised that out. And I did say that we shouldn't we shouldn't put any partisan politics above national interests. Like, for example, me, you, and everybody else could have different political views. That is completely understandable. Like, I have difference of opinion with the BJP, with the CPM, with any other party, even with some of my Congress colleagues, former colleagues also, I may have difference of opinion. That is all understandable. This is a democracy where people have the absolute right to have differences of opinion. That is the only way a democracy can move forward. But we shouldn't let any of that differences gain precedences over our national interest, our core national interest. And I also said that we should.
But you were having a responsibility inside the Congress, and you knew well what was the stand of the Congress at the time of this
No, at
tweet.
that point,
But I think you were defying the Congress stand in public through this tweet.
I disagree, because at that point, the Congress party did not have a stand. So the Congress party was saying that we will, let's say, screen this documentary across the country. I never said that that is wrong. I only said that, okay, you should have concerns about where this is coming from. And you are setting certain trends that are dangerous. And I don't think I have done anything wrong in that. I have not defied the Congress, nor have I said anything against the core beliefs or values of the Congress.
Did you discuss with your father before giving this tweet?
Absolutely no. This was like I said, like there are many tweets I make on a regular basis, and those are not things which I discuss with anybody. It's something which it's a instrument of my own expression.
You mentioned about a BBC report recently with the India map.
Yes.
You tweeted on that also. Are you keeping this subject alive?
I don't have any intention to keep this subject alive. In fact, I didn't even have an intention to make it into a large subject. I was just expressing my thought.
You have a lot of international experience. Don't you think any democratic country has a right to point out mistakes of any other country? We are asking Russia to stop the Ukraine war. Is it an attempt to enter into their sovereignty?
See, everybody, this is a free country, this is a democracy. So everybody have the right to voice their opinions and also to have their outlets of expression. That is absolutely justifiable. However, when you understand that it is not done with an innocent purpose, when you understand that it is done with an intention to open certain wounds and once again propagate certain disturbances within, then I do believe that it is the responsibility of the state to take measures to ensure that our internal security as well as our sovereignty and any narration that is a threat to our territorial integrity is being tackled.
This is a subject regarding a riot against a community. Do you think Mr. Narendra Modi was responsible for that carnage which took place in 2002?
I hear a lot of narrations, but there was a very detailed investigation that happened. There was an SIT investigation, and everybody knows what is inside it. Many people in the RSS, many people in the BJP, many people in the Sangh Parivar had been implicated. They had been implicated, and they are undergoing punishment even now. But then, how can I say that somebody which is not implicated to be absolutely culpable when I don't know? That is the answer.
Your party thinks Narendra Modi is responsible for the carnage. So, party also think that you are bailing out Modi in this subject by attacking the BBC.
See, I was not talking about Mr. Modi or the Gujarat riots in any manner. I was actually pointing out certain other aspects which was about the BBC, about British past history, about the Iraq war, about India's territorial integrity, our sovereignty and our national interest. This is what I was talking about. So these are two different things altogether. I was not justifying Mr. Modi, nor I was giving any opinions about the
But your
Gujarat
tweet
riot.
was used by the BJP to justify Mr. Modi.
See, finally, whatever our politics is, this is what I strongly believe in. We may have our political differences, but we shouldn't let external forces exploit that and create rift in this country. And we shouldn't let our politics come above our core national interests. This is my core fundamental belief.
You were attacked by the members of your party. I can quote leaders like Jera Ramesh. How did you feel hearing these attacks against you?
See, I was, more than anything, I was disappointed that they actually didn't think why I was saying this. And I do believe that what I said is actually the right thing, which was telling that we may have political differences, but don't let other people meddle in it and don't put your politics over national interests. This is what I said. But people took it in the wrong way. And then I was fairly appalled by how they responded. And that is why when certain pressures were there for me to delete or rescind or apologize or any of those things, I just did not, because I was very firm that whatever I did is based
Who
on...
called you to delete this?
No, I do not want to go into any personal details, but there were many leaders from Kerala, many from Delhi, etc., who did. They delete or correct or whatever it is. But I was very firm in my stance, and I was very firm in my stance because I was very sure that whatever I did is based on the best of my understanding and based on my own conviction and my own conscience. And I don't think when you are in that stage, you should move a step back, because finally I am doing what is based on my own conviction.
Actually, you supported Shashi Tharoor during the presidential elections.
Yes.
Do you think you were targeted because of that stand?
I would say yes and no, because these kind of cyber attacks have been coming from the time I started formally working for the party in 2019. So the last two elections, when I was setting up certain facilities in Kerala for our digital work, I did face a lot of cyber attacks, which is actually from the party itself. I understand where it is coming from also. So that is one aspect. And I also understand that a lot of people in the Congress party, especially from Kerala, was not very happy when I supported Dr. Tharoor also. There was a very strong reason why I did what I did, because I do believe that we are a young country now. India is a very young
So you
country.
think there is a master brain behind this attack?
I wouldn't say master brain, but there are some people within the party who are very positively involved in many of these cyber abuses that are coming.
But who should have that grudge against Mr. Anil K. Antony?
I do not want to name, I don't want to name anybody, because I am one of those people who do not believe in personally maligning people in any manner. End of the day, I do believe that politics should be about ideas. It should be about ideas and dialogues, and it should be about policies, and it should be about conversations that are meant for the public and national interest. It is, for me, politics is not about bad mouthing other people or having personal grudges or having it is not about personal attacks on people. That is not the kind of politics I like, and that is not the kind of politics that I would like to be involved in. And that is why when even it came to the Prime Minister's case, I said certain things, because my way of politics is not badmouthing people for who they are. It is
Actions.
actions, and it is actually fighting for things which I believe in. And it is, let's say, speaking about policies or speaking about broader policies which we agree or disagree in. It is not about personalities. It
Do
is
you
about
think that
something
Shashi
else.
Tharoor is now ignored by the party after these elections? Because he got a lot of support among the youngsters during the elections, and he got 1,000+ votes.
So I have been working with Dr. Tharoor directly from 2019. Else also, for almost a decade, I had been in constant touch with him, and he is somebody I have the highest of regards in the party. He is one of my mentors, and I am very proud to say that. And when the presidential election happened, there were many reasons why I backed him, because I did genuinely think that he stands for a lot of ideas and values, which could have given the Congress a new direction, and it could have made us into a party that would have been a legit contender, a legit alternative against our opposition both in Kerala and across India. So I had backed him with the absolute belief that I am backing a candidate that can bring change. But sadly,
Even in 2026 in Kerala, do you think the party can project him as the leader or the chief minister?
definitely he is somebody who I can say is fit to hold any designation in this country. He was somebody who lost the race for the UN Secretary Generalship by just a few votes, because one country vetoed it, or else he would have been the Secretary General of the UN. And then this is a person who has written 23, 24 different books. He has got the highest of literacy awards from the best of international forums to the national forums to the state forums. This is a person who had been democratically elected into the parliament for 15 straight years. He is a former union minister, and he is somebody who I would say is the most popular face of the Congress across urban India and across Kerala. So this is one of our party's greatest assets, And I find it very disappointing and appalling that somebody like that is not being allowed to steer the direction of the party. And I think that is a great loss for the party.
But there is a statement against Mr. Rahul Gandhi also. Don't you think that he is a good leader?
He is a great leader. I am not saying that he is not capable in any manner.
He gained much experience after the Bharat Jodo Yatra and all. But what prevents him from becoming a good leader against Mr. Modi?
Here we are comparing apples and oranges. Just because I say Shashi Tharoor is good doesn't mean that Rahul Gandhi is bad. We are a party with many good leaders. We are a party with a long history of many stalwarts. Even from Pandit Nehru's time, we had other stalwarts like Sardar Patel, and we had people like Maulana Azad, and we had people like B.R. Ambedkar. We had, even before independence, we had people like Subhash Chandra Bose, everybody, and many of them had many different views also. But Congress was an umbrella which actually took all kind of views forward, and they were all stalwarts.
But is Rahul Gandhi surrounded by a coterie?
See, again, I don't want to, I personally want to let bygones be bygones. I said certain things, and I said certain things very clearly in that letter. I do think that he is a great leader. He is somebody with great intention, and what he did in the last few months, where he was walking from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, spreading a certain message of love, of unity against hatred, trying to unite the country and take it forward. I think it is one of the greatest things that have happened in the history of independent India. It is one of the most, I would say, one of those decisive steps which anybody has taken in the history of independence India. I have the highest of regards and respect for him. But even when I say that, so we are comparing two different things. So that doesn't mean that Shashi Tharoor is inferior to anybody or Shashi Tharoor is not capable.
Finally, if given a chance, will you join the BJP?
Absolutely no. So these are again smear campaigns that are being run against me by certain sections, again mainly from my own party, my former colleagues, but that is not the intention at all. I did certain things because I did feel that that is what fits I did whatever it is based on my own convictions and my conscience. And at this moment, I only want to focus on my own professional work, and that is what it is. But I have no plans to join any other party or even continue my current political work. So that is not the intention.
But will you work with Mr. Modi even without joining BJP for a national agenda?
See, these are all hypothetical questions, but I do feel that if it suits the national interest, every citizen in this country should be doing that irrespective of who the Prime Minister is. Because for every citizen in this country, Prime Ministers come and go, but nation remains, the national interest has to be upholded whatever it is. And I do think that every citizen in this country, irrespective of their politics, should always put national interest above politics.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anil Antony,
Thank
for
you.
this interview.
Thank you very much.
ಇದು ಏಷ್ಯಾನೆಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಿ.
ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಏಷ್ಯಾನೆಟ್ ಸುವರ್ಣ ನ್ಯೂಸ್.